Helldivers is a chaotic 4-player twin-stick shooter, developed by Arrowhead Games Studios and released in 2015. I don't know how you're supposed to make progress as a solo player, but it's absolutely entertaining with a full group of friends. Bonus points if you can actually work together as a team, but it's still a good time if all you do is screw over your pals by running them over with vehicles, killing them with drop pods, and not paying attention to where you're shooting. So there's this old game called Alien Swarm, which was developed by Valve and released in 2010. It's also free. 2010. Dear God, I'm old. Helldivers has some similar mechanics. Specifically, it's a 4-player game. It's a top-down style shooter. It has aliens, needing to manually reload your weapon, and being part of the twin-stick shooter genre. One of my brothers stumbled across Helldivers and said, "Guess what we're playing this weekend?" And thus we all ended up with it, and chaotic fun times were had indeed. We introduced the bugs, cyborgs, and illuminates to good old liberty. And now I must ask you, why aren't there any freedom knock-knock jokes? Because freedom rings.
Greetings, recruit. Your application to Helldivers program is currently in review. That's why we've summoned you to this meeting. As you're very well aware of, our struggle against our galactic enemies is a legendary one. For every time we defeat them, they come back just as strong. For every bug squashed, for every cyborg unplugged, for every wispy illuminate fart fanned away into oblivion, we occasionally lose good people. And that's why you've applied to join the Helldivers. To be part of the change in the galaxy we so desperately need. To deliver the message of freedom from Super Earth to these alien vermin. To give them a taste of liberty. So, first, before we send you off to basic training, let me ask, do you have a life insurance policy?
Helldivers is a third-person twin-stick shooter. Thankfully, I can play this twin-stick shooter with a keyboard and mouse. I move with WASD and aim with my mouse. Naturally, you can play with a controller, so feel free to pick the controls you prefer. When you jump into Helldivers, you'll first get a tutorial which demonstrates just how quickly you can die, and adequately demonstrated how tough this game was going to be. While I don't think I died on the training mission, and in doing so I was a positive statistic for all Helldivers everywhere, I promptly got flattened by dropships, drop pods, and my own mechs I called in. I was eviscerated by bugs and shot in the back by my own brothers. All this to say, I'm not very good at this game. Also, it's tough. I realize there are some people out there who just have a gift for playing hard video games. I know a fair number of people who just have that gift. I do not have it. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't check out this game if it looks fun. All the more so if you have a group of 3 people to play it with. Helldivers has an ongoing galactic campaign which will update you on what happened since you last logged on. I've shared in Super Earth's victories over our adversaries, and I've shared in Super Earth's losses. But I've only found out about those victories or tragedies after logging back in, after not playing for months. Oops. I'm sorry I've let you down, brothers and sisters. When you first show up on your spaceship, you will probably first walk to the Galactic Campaign strategy board in the front of the vessel and choose a planet from one of the 3 enemy faction-controlled systems: Bug, Illuminate, and Cyborg. Then select a planet. Planets towards the right increase in size and difficulty. But nothing ventured, nothing gained. The harder levels have better equipment to unlock and award far better experience and influence towards the overall conquest of that alien species. Being a disgusting, filthy casual, I can play world difficulties 3 to 4 by myself. With a full group, we could go much farther up in the difficulties. I think we might have pulled off a level 5 in a group of 3, but it was rough. As you play, you will unlock new perks, primary weapons, and stratagems. You can also have 4 stratagems equipped, each with different categories. You can summon vehicles, equipment or ammunition, stationary turrets, or various types of airstrikes. While navigating to your next objective on the planet, you'll come across and collect research samples, and this research goes towards upgrading your various weapons and equipment. If you ever forget about anything in the game, you can check out the in-game encyclopedia, which will refresh you on the basics and sometimes even teach you something new. For example, up until the time that I recorded this review, I didn't know what my standing stat was about when I checked my stats in the armory. It turns out if you drop into people's games and then just gun them down and be a troll, you could and should be reported in-game. And then that will give you a bad standing, which then penalizes you, so you'll be able to only play with other bad standing Helldivers. The bad standing goes away eventually, but I think that's a really clever way to slightly punish rando jerks who drop in and mess with you. It's not like a VAC ban that follows you for life, but just a little bit of in-game shame goes a long way. A final note about the encyclopedia: it allows you to read up stats and weaknesses to the various enemies you encounter. For some of the enemies I've encountered, I couldn't figure out what kind of weapon I'm supposed to hit them with, and after consulting the encyclopedia, I then had a better idea where to hit them and with what weapon to use. Another location of note on the main ship is the armory, where you can look over your stats, see how many times you've shamefully died, or how many shots you've fired. There's also some customization features for your Helldiver. And who doesn't love customizations? A lot of people actually, but I'm not one of them. I like it. More importantly, you can customize your weapons and stratagems. Remember what I was saying about samples and research earlier? You collect samples to get research points and then spend those points on upgrading your equipment. I must confess, I really haven't played all that much of Helldivers yet. I've played enough to get the general gist of the game, however, I don't think I'm going to be putting in the time to get good, or get most of the achievements, or even unlock and upgrade tons of weapons and equipment. It's just a bit too much work on my own. However, if my group of video game friends wants to jump in and grind out Helldivers, I most certainly will be joining in. And that's my takeaway from this whole review. Methinks Helldivers is great with a group of people. It's not bad as a solo player per se. However, I'm not good enough and I don't intend to be good enough to play this game by myself. Regardless, thanks for watching. I hope you will answer Super Earth's call and rise up to become the legend you truly are. But seriously, I hope this review is helpful if you were on the fence about picking up this fun, chaotic game. My name is Atratzu, and I will see you in the next review.